Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear viewers and welcome to Women's View on Ahlulbayt TV. You're watching Women's View live on Ahlulbayt TV. Now, as some of you may already know that this is a live call-in show, so if you'd like to call in with your views or opinions, then please do call in with the number on the screen. We would love to hear from you. Alternatively, you can email us at womensview@ahlulbayt.tv, or you can tweet us on Twitter with any questions, comments, or anything you would like to participate in today's show. Now, today's topic is, this has been requested by a few sisters and brothers. It is how to maintain your Islamic values at university. As you all know that university has started. Everyone's returned back to university, started university, college, school. It doesn't matter which level you're at, we return back to the educational institutes. Now, the question is, how does someone maintain the Islamic values while at university? We'll be focusing at the university atmosphere. How do you maintain your Islamic values without seeming alienated? How do we integrate within society, be social at university without compromising our faith? Now, that's the question of today's show. If you have any questions, then please get in touch with us, anything you would like to say. Now, we already have some of your comments coming through Facebook and Twitter, and some emails as well, which we've just received some emails. So we shall be reading out your comments during today's show and answering them. You can always get in contact with us or call us if you have anything else to add. So let's start our topic today. I'm your host, Zahra Al-Alawi, and today with me is Sister Zahira Mamdani. Assalamu alaikum. It's always an exciting things, returning back to university, starting university, and I think with that comes a lot of challenges as well. And first of all, to open up discussion now, we did get some emails and questions coming through, so we will mention them. But first of all, to start off with, what are some of the challenges or obstacles that someone faces when entering university?
From my own experience, I was quite surprised as to how many challenges there were when I first started. Like the main ones that come to mind would be really simple things like shaking hands and how to avoid that, maintaining physical and social hijab, gender interaction. Like, it's a very common thing in a lot of people's culture. There are no boundaries for them, and so for us to maintain our values, it's quite a challenge. Even social outings, if you've got a group of friends at university, sometimes it's very difficult to kind of make sure that the settings that you're in all the time are, something that Islam would approve of. If you and your friends want to go out, you have to make sure that it's a place that's, not with a bad reputation, things like that.
Yeah, like you said, when I entered university, I didn't really think about the challenges that I faced, but there is a lot. The university I went to, I remember. It was, I think there was no Muslims in my class. I studied media and television, so that course usually doesn't have a lot of Muslims who are studying it. And I remember that a lot of the gatherings were going to the pub and discussing work, and it was just a few of us that would actually go to the canteen or sit down. So there is a lot of challenges. There's something that you mentioned as well that I really wanted. I met you and a couple of girls a couple of weeks ago, and you were discussing how rolling up the sleeves.
Right now I'm studying dentistry, and as part of the regulations for health and safety, there's a policy called bare below the elbows policy, which means basically your arms have to be bare below the elbows. And when I heard about that, I was quite upset. I didn't really want to have to do that. But alhamdulillah, the thing I realized is if you don't ask, you don't get. So if you bring it up with them, alhamdulillah, they allowed us to wear plastic sleeves over our sleeves. So, alhamdulillah, we're still able to maintain hijab properly.
That's the good thing. There's always something to work around.
Yeah.
So the good thing. Let me just read one of the comments out. So I know we're going to be getting more during the show, so I just want to read one of them out. This was Sister Rayhana, I believe, and she commented on Facebook, and she said, I'm a type of person who gets influenced really quickly. I seem to have a great hijab all year round, and then when university starts, I seem to get influenced by the girls around me and dress down with tighter clothes and more makeup. And sure, yikes, did I say makeup? I feel it may be a lack of confidence. I don't know. What would you say now? That was from Rahma. Sorry, it was Rahma Latif. So makeup, getting influenced by the people around you. You're at university. You're with girls that are wearing tight clothing. So the sister said maybe it's a lack of confidence. So what would you say, like what advice would you give to the sister?
I think the most important thing to realise is no matter where you are, it's impossible not to be influenced by your friends. You really have to be careful about who you hang around with, and you know how much time you spend with certain people. You know, that doesn't mean if you suddenly stop talking to anyone that wears makeup or doesn't observe hijab, but just bear in mind that you need to be your own person, and that the things that set people apart is when they stick to their own values and they stand their ground. There's no really easy way around it. There's no kind of tactic to make it easier for yourself. You just have to remember that, you know, your hijab is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to kind of fit in and please everyone else's eye.
Definitely, yeah. No, I think like just going back to remembering the time when I was in university, I think that sometimes people get influenced by others, but when you become so confident and strong in what you do and you maintain your values, then I think that people begin to get influenced by you. I mean that if your friends see you with good hijab, they may get influenced by you and they may begin to dress more modestly because they've seen you dress modestly. I think that's the thing. She said that maybe she lacks confidence. I think sometimes it's probably just a sense of trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And I think if someone that all their friends are doing, you just want to fit in. Just like if everyone's dressed a certain way, you don't want to seem like you're the odd one out. So you just want to fit in into the crowd. I think that's where the problem lies, and that's what happens when you enter university.
Sometimes I think we can kind of feel a bit apologetic about our beliefs and our values. And it's important to remember that we don't have anything to apologise for. You know, these are our values, and they're not just there to make life more difficult. They're benefiting us at the end of the day. You know, if you observe better hijab, you're going to benefit from it, not anyone else.
Yeah.
So it's important not to feel apologetic, not to feel bad about these things, because everyone has their opinions, everyone has their beliefs, and hijab is just one of those things that tends to stand out a bit more.
Yeah. There's only one thing I want to say to the sister, and I hope she's watching, because I think she wrote this comment a few hours ago. I just want to say one thing, and that is, I feel like whatever someone does in the beginning of the year is what people will get used to. So for example, if you in the beginning of the year you begin to change, you don't stand your ground, then people will always get used to you in that way, and then it's hard to go back and kind of change your ways. I think in the beginning of the year it's a fresh start. It's when you begin the year, whatever you do now, if, for example, so you talk about shaking hands, if someone comes forward and shakes your hand, if you say no, then you've set your ground, and that's what continues on. I think same with hijab, that's something which helped me when people first met me at university, my classmates, they saw me wearing abaya and they got used to me, and you know, and then afterwards I integrated within within the class, we chatted, we became social, and that's who I was, that's who Zahra was for them. So I think it's what you set yourself at the beginning, and then it's, you know, you won't get influenced very easily. Yeah,
definitely. Like even like this is talking about hijab and makeup. You know, if for example you suddenly change the way you dress or your makeup, whatever, maybe for the first couple of days, of course people aren't going to come up to you and say, what's wrong, why aren't you wearing makeup? In their heads they might think, oh, what happened? But after a week or two, just that's who you are, that's who you become. No one really, it doesn't concern anyone anymore.
That's true, yeah, that's actually true. Now the big question, is it possible to maintain your Islamic values at university, especially when the majority of the people at university, you know, their values are not similar to yours? Is it possible to maintain your Islamic values?
I think definitely, because education, it's not one of these, it's not a part of Western culture, it's not a part of where we've moved to. Education is so encouraged by Islam, and the hadith even says, seek knowledge even if you have to go to China. Now, I'm not reading too much into this, but China wasn't a Muslim country and it still isn't. And I think within that hadith, maybe the Prophet is trying to say, even if you have to face challenges where people don't have your values and don't have your beliefs, you should still pursue the knowledge.
Definitely.
And these things are just extra challenges for us. Like, a lot of the time we might think that the Imams had it easy or the Prophet had it easier because it was, you know, a Muslim environment, but it wasn't at the beginning. And the Prophet, you know, he faced challenges probably much greater than us. So it's important that, you know, these challenges are part of life. We're going to face them everywhere. we should get used to them.
Definitely. There's something I want to add on to that, but we do have our first caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters.
Assalamu alaikum, sister. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for this nice show, an interesting topic.
Thank you very much. Do you have anything you would like to add?
Yeah, I just want to talk about gender interaction in university. I think it's a big challenge for Muslim women. I mean, when I used to, go to university, I tried to stay away from all the boys and just hang out with the girls. But the problem that I found is in the class, the teachers make us work in groups. And she used to give us like numbers from 1 to 5, for example, and whoever has the number 1, they all work in a group. Yeah. So I couldn't really choose who I work with, whether it's girls or boys. And I felt like I was forced to work with boys. And it's like we have assignments outside of the class to all, meet up and work together as part of our course. And I felt like it's really difficult, for Muslim women to, communicate with boys. But at the same time, I felt like I was forced to do that because it's part of my course. But I just want to say to all these girls who, have to, interact with boys is just to keep it as, just for the course, just for university, not to go outside of university and meet up in coffee shops or, cinema and make it like, become too friendly with them, if you know what I mean.
That's true, yeah. So
and, that's what I used to do. I just kept it in class. But the problem with universities, nowadays is that they have too much facilities, like coffee shops, they have a bar, they have a swimming pool. The university that I went to, it even has a swimming pool. Yeah. So the best thing is not to meet up in these places and just keep it as you only meet them for work.
Yeah, definitely true. So would you agree that, you can interact with the opposite gender but formally and keep it just work basis, not informally and taking it further?
Yeah, just formally, part of the work, just for studying or work, just formally. Because, if you go... I'm sorry?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just to keep it formally, because, if you become too friendly with them, that's when the danger comes.
That's definitely true. Thank you so much for calling in. I think you gave a valuable point. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye. Thanks for the caller for calling in. I think you did make a very valid point and something we should discuss further. I know we have a few minutes till we go for a break, but interesting points mentioned there. Definitely. Gender interaction, a big thing when you go to university. Yeah. Now, when you're forced to work in groups and that group, you need to work further outside the classroom, maybe meet up and like, for example, build a project. What advice would you give there? Now, I know the sister said, gave some advice as well, not to take it further, not to informally chat with them or meet up outside work purposes. But what other advice would you give?
I definitely agree with the sister. It's really important to keep your relationship strictly professional, a working relationship, because like a friend of mine said something really interesting. She says that it's all, like, if you open the door, then that gives them a license to become more friendly. If you start acting a bit more friendly, do you know what I mean? They sense that, and it becomes very easy for them to become friendly as well. So it's like, of course, not to be completely robotic to the point where they get offended by your aloofness, but maintain a sense of self-respect, and keep in mind that this isn't a friend or a buddy or anything. Strictly professional. This is only for work, and just be really careful, because it's very easy to give off the impression to someone that you want to be friends when you actually don't.
That's true. I think going to university, it's impossible not to interact with the opposite gender. I mean, everyone that goes to university, especially obviously mixed universities, you're going to interact with the opposite gender whether you like it or not, especially when your classrooms have both male and females. And I think, like you said, you need to maintain yourself when interacting with the opposite gender, because I feel like when you respect yourselves, guys respect you. I mean, I went to university. I didn't feel like, I felt like the girls, well, I didn't really, there was no Muslims in my class, but the girls that were a bit more open, that used to laugh, then the men would start laughing with them. They, you know, they can sense someone's attitude, and they kind of mirror the same attitudes. And I think that when you kind of become respectful in your approach and modest in your speaking, then I think they sense that as well, and they begin to respect you.
People usually treat you how you treat them. So if you treat someone with a bit too much friendliness, they'll just reciprocate.
Definitely true. We are going off for a quick break, so we'll be back after the break. For the audience watching at home, we do thank the caller for calling in. I think he gave a very valid points. We will discuss this further after the break. We still have some of your comments, your tweets and your emails coming through, so we will read them out after the break and answer them, so stay tuned. If you do want to get in contact with us after the break, then please do email us at womensview@ahlulbayt.tv, tweet us at Zahra Al-Alawi, or you can call us after the break. So we'll see you in a few minutes, inshallah, where we're discussing how to maintain your Islamic values at university. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.